You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, it's Charge Hayner at Zoom the TBT, and we're going to you really fast with a last chance final stab edition of Bracketology. Charge, how you doing on Bracket Eve?
Yeah, no, Bracket Eve's exciting. I mean, it really is like Christmas Eve for the TBT community. Usually it's fairly quiet, but got some information today that may shake things up a little bit. So we thought enough content to throw a quick last-minute, 15-minute Bracketology for everyone's pleasure.
This is our last guesses, and obviously Charge is more connected, so he's the bright guy here. We're just directing traffic on my end. So right then, let's just get right to where the most moving and shaking was happening in Wichita. And unlike our normal show, we're not going to go into each individual matchup. We're just going to show this as a sort of a picture of what's happening. So Charge, what did you see as the biggest moves in your thinking about how the bracket played out?
Yeah, so the biggest moves here, per the TBT website, once again, teams move. Sometimes people request to play in a certain bracket. Sometimes TBT requests they play in a certain bracket, things of that nature. So Wichita got shaken up really, really bad with both mental toughness and the Newman Goretti Saints moving from their prior regionals over to Wichita, which had a profound impact on the bottom of the bracket. Some of these bubble teams like West Coast Ronin, Fort Wood, Louisiana United, Utah Valor, pains me I had to pull them out of the top 16, but I've been saying all along, for both Newman and mental toughness, these teams have to be in the tournament. They've done such a good job preparing their teams. And so that's my first initial is, holy cow, if the TBT website's accurate and these guys truly did move to Wichita, that is game-changing for this bracket.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the bracket has obviously gotten a lot more dangerous with some of the moving and shaking. And you're correct to mention those last four out, because really this last 4 or 5 out, at least 4 of them, I mean, the Ronin, the Warriors, Louisiana United, and the Valor are all credible teams who could even win a game or two in this. So having them out really shows the depth of the field. And again, like we like to be wrong. So maybe we're wrong on some of these teams. Maybe they get in. And one thing that helps to remember too, is a great time to say that with COVID protocols, with last minute organizational things, even well-organized teams can fall apart due to like some unforeseen event. So even if we have a bubble, 1, we're occasionally wrong. And 2, the bubble is flexible due to all the COVID and due to all the problems with the current and sort of how the world's working. So if you're a bubble team, even tomorrow, like there's still some hope. You need to make sure you're still in the game. Charge, is there any sort of matchup here that really intrigues you if this played out this way?
Yeah, before I get to the matchup, I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on expats. This is a team we had on our speed dating. So they were out of our previous Bracketology. I loved what they had to say on speed dating. Got CJ McCollum behind them, supporting them over on Instagram. The team's good. And so this is one of these teams that I think coming in a little bit late, promoting themselves, but absolutely deserves it. So we actually had 3 people come into this bracket and really blow up the bottom of the bracket. But I think, whatever team Kimchi Express plays is the matchup for me in the first round, because whether you agree with 11 or should it be closer to 8, this is just such a deep region with a lot of non-alumni teams. Kimchi's much improved. They're going to come out, they're going to entertain, and I think that's going to be the most intriguing first round matchup. And right now I got them on number 6 team Arkansas, so I shuffled up the top a little bit, moved up Eberline a little bit, so I didn't get any more hate mail about Eberline. I still got them at 4. I know people think they should be 1, but I'm sticking behind my guys at Florida TNT and my good friends at Eberline. I'm going to leave them at 4 for now. But I love the Kimchi Express and excited to see, did they truly take that step over the threshold and is going to be the next Eberline? And Team Arkansas would be an amazing test for that team.
It's funny too, because obviously until we didn't prep the show at all, really, we just got this as a quick and dirty one. We're putting out literally, I think, 15 minutes after tape, because that was my pick for the game too. That's the one that intrigues me the most, is the Arkansas Kimchi matchup, because I think Kimchi obviously has made a lot of moves. They have started to become that trajectory of a team that's going to continue to improve and become more credible. And this might be graduation day for them. Maybe the Kimchi Express are worthwhile, and Arkansas is possibly. And I see a real division between 1 through 6. I think, and no disrespect to the Enchantment, who are a quality team, below 7 is the slight drop in quality. I think 1 through 6 is pretty flat. I think Arkansas is incredibly talented, but like, is there enough balls for Hannah and Barford to share? And can Kimchi Express sort of get in there and try to make that more of a problem, the fact there's only 1 ball? But since you already went there, I'm going to go ahead and go with D3 and the Cheaters, sort of the Drew League staples versus D3 would be my second choice. I think it's the best squad D3's ever had. The cheaters are also incredible. So that could be a really interesting matchup. So Charge, which one of the cuts was the most painful for you? And they're all painful. So go ahead and say which one was the worst.
Yeah, I know which one you're going to say. So I'm going to say Utah Valor. I know you're fond of another one of those teams. Utah Valor, we heard a lot about passion being one of the top criteria in order to get into TBT, along with fan base, reliability, things of that nature. But, Brian Tracy just done an amazing job. He's always been active on social, but this year amped it up, had some great content, and I think a much, much better team than they've had in the past as well. So that one pains me. I hate if it's true. Once again, this is the ZoomTheTBT bracket, so it's not the TBT bracket, but if Valor gets knocked out, that one's going to hurt me. I just don't see them in if these other teams are now going to be playing in Wichita.
Well, I actually don't know which team you think I'm going to say, because the other three are also, they all hurt a lot, and the Valor hurt a lot.
Actually, no, you love all those teams.
I know.
I had in mind that I think you like a little more. Let's hear yours, and then
I'm going to go ahead and say, as much as I like two of them, and I think you probably got it right. Louisiana United hurts the most because they're a credible team. They're probably the most of the five teams we have down there. They're the most qualified. They've won games before, but Tyron Johnson with the long French season may not play this year. That's a hit because he's been the core of that team. He's been the leader of that team. That would be a big enough hit maybe to keep them out of that bracket if Tyron's not playing. That's a key thing. But yeah, Fort Hood and West Coast also. The Ronin and Fort Hood really hurt a lot. We had Ronin on the Bubble show. Yeah. They're incredibly qualified. They're an OG team, and Fort Hood is a very qualified team as well. So this just shows again the depth of the field. If these four teams are out, and the advantage also are no slouches. These five teams are all credible teams. This is ridiculous, the depth of this field. Any last thoughts on Wichita?
Yeah, I just think to your point, Louisiana United, because we'll see this theme in a couple more regions. I think the non-alumni teams have to have a really, really good story that either, they have a really good brand with a cause. They have had really good success making it very deep in the tournament. And so I think those are going to be the teams that we see kind of get squeezed in this bracketology tomorrow for teams like the Expats, the Newman Goretti. This is the first full high school alumni team. So there's some great stories behind those. So, and unfortunately, I think that may come at the cost of, all three of those teams are similar: Louisiana United, Fort Hood, and West Coast Ronin. So, All right, no, that's all I got on Wichita.
Yeah, that's exciting. The Newman Gray team should be really, I hope they get them. This is a really interesting story. Okay, one region down. And this is, again, a region that was a little softer, just got more and more deep as it got through. These moves really helped. So into where we're going to be going, West Virginia, which I am really excited about. And Charge is actually wearing the colors of the 1C, which I find really entertaining. A very deep and dangerous field. A lot of OG teams and a lot of just pure damn fist fights. And the first thing that strikes me, Charles, I want you to go ahead and touch on this if you want to, is that last out bracket on this one is a nightmare. Let's actually start with the bubble teams, because this is just a disaster in some ways.
Yeah, and this one here, I would have never put him out. So this was the other kind of new news to us.
Bombshell.
Yeah, we scour the website for updated information every day, a couple times a day. So we're looking for these things. This one here was dropped by obviously the GM John, but Gale Nation is out. I mean, that is shocking to me. They performed really well in the TBT previously, so had to pull them out. But the other teams, the Underground Kings, a team I love, I think they're still a legit shot to get in. Peacock Nation, Parish United is going to be one of those ones where I think they're a really good team and can beat some of these teams in this bracket, but I just don't think there's that story there that's really going to draw people. I have to go watch Parish United on ESPN today. And so, but yeah, the big shockers, Gale. I think Underground Kings is legitimate chance to bump somebody off. There's some teams at the bottom that you can make a case that Underground Kings is going to be right up in there. But yeah, tough bracket. And the move I made on this one with Gale coming out, I put it in HBCU at that number 14 so that HBC United team, Phil Carr, Charge guy, he's having a great overseas career, and I think this is going to be the team that slips into West Virginia.
And this is really the first time also to stay on the bubble team, especially on Gale Nation specifically, and a little bit on Underground Kings too, is the thing now is this is where free agency restarts tomorrow. Because where does Scott Machado go? And here's a hint: he played for Armored last time, and Armored at a 4. If you have Machado, that 4 feels really low. That really puts Sideline in danger for a huge fist fight in the regional semi. So I mean, this is tomorrow when teams found out they're out. The rosters shuffle again, and guys who are like studs on the teams don't make it. I mean, Scott Machado goes to a free agency position. It's nuts. I mean, that's just having that kind of guy as a complete free agent's crazy. So Charge, who of the top 4 seeds in this one has the cleanest path, you think? No easy paths, but no easy paths. But who the cleanest?
There's no easy paths. But obviously, Sideline's the favorite in this bracket. I think they easily have the best roster, the most experience, the most cohesion. I think Sideline, and that's why I'm repping Sideline tonight. So I want to get ready, and I'm like, why would I put on a Charge shirt tonight? I got Sideline Cancer #1. So I think they have a smooth shot. I think a couple appealing teams while we're at it. I think anybody heard that plays is going to be interested in watching that game. That's much watch. We're not going to say. But my sleeper that I love is I can't wait to see what Boo Williams does. These guys,
they're fun.
They're having a great time, and they have a good, solid team as well. So, but we can go 1 through 16 and call out every team as something we're excited about. But those are kind of a couple that I'm looking forward to seeing.
I'm actually really excited because we've decided that this is the region we're both going to drive to cover in person, provided a press pass comes through. It should. And I think what makes this great is you look at this matchup. We've had one or both of the teams of every one of these games on our podcast. They're all credible. And this is going to be a bruiser's bracket because every game will leave scars. That's the interesting thing. You can see maybe the Kings might have a slightly hard time of Sideline, but literally Showtime at 15 is going to stretch herd that. I mean, you've got Fletcher, you've got the shooting. I mean, first to 170 wins. It's going to be a Grinnell game. So this bracket, it's going to be a war. Whoever comes out of this is going to need the extra week between this and Dayton just to rest up. Is there a double-digit seed you see here that just might actually walk out with more than one game?
I do not.
I agree.
I think this is going to be pretty straightforward. I think those middle seeds are going to be a real big battle, but I think the first round or two is going to play out as you would expect it to, which definitely means there's going to be a lot of upsets because every year we think we can call these games right and know what's going to happen. But, I tweeted out today, with the TBT, the impossible is possible. So you never know what's going to happen with these. I think it's going to be straightforward. I think that every year, but, a lot of interesting teams. So we'll let the games play themselves out and can't wait to cover it in West Virginia.
I think what strikes me on this bracket is the workmanlike quality. A lot of these teams actually do take defense and team play really seriously. I think the winner of if this were the bracket, I think the winner of a matchup like D2 and Bleed Virginia, two hard-nosed teams with a lot of depth, shooting, and defense, a lot of egalitarian, multiple weapon teams. That's going to be a hard game. Heard that better try to finish Showtime off with little effort, which I don't think they'll be able to do because they'll be in pretty much a fist fight in that second game if this were the bracket. War Ready has a lot of sins to account for last year too. They really need to win. They have to win that game. For their long-term credibility as a program, they can't go out twice early. They have to win that game. That's not even a question.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I know Matt's, got a great program this year, upgraded some of the talent, upgraded the coaching. But that's a good point. This War Ready team has to show up and really show out this year. So, if they go out in the first round again, got to question some of the situations back there. But I think Matt's going to step up and show up in that first game against JMU if that's how it plays out. So, obviously, we'll see what the TBT seeds are tomorrow, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Daylight Time. But, yeah, I get the idea. Yeah.
Daylight Standard.
Which is it's all the same shit. Okay, so which would be a more fun game to watch? Sideline, Armored, or Best Virginia and Herd, if it's favorites, if it's chalk?
Oh, it's Best Virginia and Herd easily. Give me that game all day. I think obviously the talent on both games would be amazing, but once again, TBT is going to have these two teams, on a collision course. They have to, where it ends up. I think the 2-3 makes sense, but that place is going to be insane if both these guys win a couple games, get into that 2-3 matchup. It's going to be amazing. So, but once again, no easy games here, so it's going to be a battle.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're halfway home. Let's do the next one. We've got Illinois, my college state. And this is a pretty interesting bracket. A lot of people, we had talked earlier about Peoria looking a little soft. And I think some people started to think it was, and then it started this mass East Coast migration there. So this field is actually a peer now. It's not longer soft. It's the same as the rest. It's a tough field again, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously, Golden Eagles, they should hold down the number one seed. I still think Bayheims is going to come out of this bracket and win the thing. But you got Golden Eagles, Bayheim. House of Pain, major, major, major upgrade with adding Brandon Paul. So you already had Mike Dom, Felice. I mean, they're loaded. I struggle with the home crowd, almost putting House of Pain at the 2 and Bayheim's at the 3. But I just think the Bayheim's talent, and they've been teasing, more to come. So we'll wait and see what that more to come is. So I'm trusting in Belby. We trust, as we say. He says he's got more coming. Then let's hold on and see what that more is. But yeah, and it's just really, really deep in the middle too. So we're top heavy with 3 powerhouse teams. Team Brotherly Love. I mean, they could quote their resume, and it's the best of the best in TBT history. The Oregon team's going to be tough. Tubby Time region, 20th and only, overlooked. I bumped Jimmy V and Vinny up a couple spots, and then it's just an amazing regional. So there's not a soft regional here. I did bring SCD hoop. So with some of those people moving bracket to bracket, I did bring Sickle Cell in. I think Billy Garrett, Mike Henry. This is going to be a really good squad. So that's the one I moved in. But there's no guarantees there. I mean, Hoopville Warriors is one of the TBT originals. They've been around a long time.
Oh,
you heard they almost knocked out Golden Eagles the 1 year. Jackson, Tennessee underdogs. We know the history of those guys. So very easily, there could be a surprise here with the selection committee with TBT, because you can easily put Hoopville, you can easily put Jackson, Tennessee underdogs there, and no one's going to bat an eye, because those are both quality opponents that have proven themselves as the TBT in the past.
So we always talk about how we tend to be pretty smart guys. We get a lot of things wrong about who's going to win games, because the TBTs do really pretty flat. But I see the first round here being pretty chalky. I see it. I mean, let's be clear. Every team in this bracket, on all the brackets, is talented, but I do see a clear separation. The game I'm most looking forward to first round, give me Region Jimmy V. That'll be a really fun game. 2 really underlooked or overlooked, under respected teams of a lot of talent. But I see the top 4 seeds being the clear cut. I would be floored if it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. I would be absolutely floored if it's not. That's not a discredit to the other teams. I don't see a first round upset of a 1, 2, 3, 4, which guarantees there will be an upset of 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead.
They could all be number ones. I mean, that is one that absolutely every one of those teams could be a number 1 seed any other year, but it just shows the depth of the TBT and how far they've come. But as far as the game I'm looking forward to, you mentioned that region and Jimmy V. So you said it's chalk. So Vinny, you heard it. Hayner's picking you.
I said it's chalk for the top 5.
Oh, all right. I just want to make sure
that's a coin flip game. That's an absolute coin flip game. I wouldn't even predict
that's going to be an amazing matchup if it plays out. But the 2 games I really like is 20th and only and
also a coin flip.
The overlooked American team. I think those are both awesome teams, and whoever comes out of there is going to give Golden Eagles a run. We all agree with Golden Eagles should advance, but I think that's one where holy cow. The other team, if there is going to be a double-digit seed, I really like is Peoria All-Stars. They do have House of Pain at home, so that kind of concerns me, but they're playing in Peoria. They're going to be amped up to play kind of that big elite program. I think Peoria, you cannot sleep on those guys. I think they may come out and surprise House of Pain early, and so House of Pain is going to have to be ready for that first punch.
One thing I'm noticing looking at this too is that, and we're not the TBT selection committee, and I think these seeds are pretty solid, but I would not be surprised to move the seeds around, because we also put all the Peoria and Illinois teams literally within a 4-pack. I have a feeling they might move it around a little to make sure some local fans have something to watch. Remember, it's helpful to remember this is professional wrestling partially, so they might move a seed line for matchups. That's not unheard of or even unreasonable for an entertainment event.
And for us, if we even get the teams right without the seeds, I'm happy.
I'm thrilled. If we get 90% of the teams right, or even 85, I'm thrilled. That's all we're trying to do here.
But I just really like that top pod there with Tubby Time, Always a Brave, Peoria, Illinois. That's going to be an amazing group of games right there, especially in Peoria. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
I'm making hand motions because you can't see me on the tape when I'm not talking, because you can hear Charge saying, what were you saying, Charge?
Tubby Time.
Yeah, I'm not a big Tubby Time fan, as we all know, but I'll be rooting for
maybe always the Brave will surprise with that home crowd. I just, and that's one of those ones I picked a matchup where I wanted to. If there is an upset, always a Brave can possibly take on Illinois in that second round, because that's obviously ratings gold right there. It'd be a great matchup, but we'll see how it plays out.
Okay, but one last bracket. Columbus, and this is again a really interesting thing because the bye teams really kind of do some things here with that Vahaki City. I can't pronounce the damn thing. I don't even know. And of course, all these Ohio people. Charge, like, first of all, what do you think? Like, where's the cut line between the true championship contenders and the merely very good teams in this bracket? Do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, minimum 7. I mean, when you look at Carmen's Red Scares,
I was going to say 6.5.
Tiers, the money team. So, hey, money team. So, Jimmer Fredette's a free agent right now.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's some issues out in China, and when the foreign players will be able to play out there again. So, if I know a lot of people were like, hey, Jimmer, come play for me. Obviously, he's a money team guy if he does play in the TBT.
That would have a huge change on the seating, I think, a little.
Yeah, absolutely. If Jimmer gets confirmed to TMT, so they're going to be great. Hines is already building that team back up. So they got Justin Burrell, who's got a great history in the TBT, Calathis. So they're already building, and that's 7 deep. And this has always been the bracket I said is the deepest in the entire thing. And from there, you go Blue Collar U to Buffalo alumni, Brown and White to St. Bonaventure alumni, and then Mid-American Uni can win games. Ohio University can win. NC State, Nerd Team, Cat 5, which we had a little some people saying they were way better than Menominee, which they have a good.
We moved them up.
I don't think they're deep enough. Menominee is very, very deep, and they have, I think, plugged the right holes to help them advance even further. But this one here, probably 1 to 15. I don't know enough about the Vahakanis like you mentioned, but 1 through 15.
What's the I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, that team, the Armenian champs. What was interesting, though, reading on the website, the GM of the team is from the Bus family, so the LA Lakers family. So learn something new about the
Maybe they can get Kyle Kuzma. This is Kuzma's name from the commercial we all said 8 million times last year.
Promoted from the commercials to the court. And then even the teams out, I think we're missing one here for sure. And I hate to say it, but DRC might be that team. But I think Panthers get in. They got RJ Hunter listed on there as an assistant coach. Whether he shows up or not, it's a different story. But I just got this feeling Panthers family is going to be in there. But I don't know who to pull out. And, I prefer DRC is a stronger team, and they have some history. So I'm going to leave them in. But I think we're missing one here for sure. I just don't know who. Love the guys from Alex's Lemonade Stand. Great guys.
I love how you don't know how to pull out. I think that's great. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I see a really deep bracket. I think there's a lot of credible double-digit seeds. I think the Nerd team is definitely going to stretch the Volunteers. One, because I think Nerd team's really quality, and 2, I really want that to happen. I hate the Volunteers. I think the Menominee have improved immensely. I really don't see. I see some challenges to the top 4 in this one a little bit more. I do see zip them up. And we talked about this GM of the year. I don't think there's no question, right? Provided they win a game or 2.
Yeah. Even if they don't win a game, it's almost like you never know. Just the program itself is legit. Everything's in place. We have seen teams come in and fall on their face. I truly hope that doesn't happen to zip them up. I think these guys just, doing everything the right way, fun and engaging content. So I hope that's not the case, but you can't sleep on these Ohio teams. So, I still hope they zip them up in Ohio together, but that's going to be a tough matchup. And I still love 8-9. I have to see Buffalo versus Brown and White.
I'm really excited about that matchup. That's interesting. That's a matchup that you've talked about a lot that you're really excited about.
I grew up in Western New York, so pretty much between Buffalo and Olean. So I kind of grew up knowing these teams as a youngster. And so, just one of those, it'd be a fun game to watch, and I think the quality of both of these teams is going to be very, very high. I mean, any other region, these teams probably aren't an 8-9. They're a little more favorable. So I think they're both going to be really solid teams that are going to show up and play hard.
I think the matchup I'm most looking forward to in the first round is if this were the bracket, is that 5-12. So I really do hate Tennessee, but even I, as a guy who hates Tennessee, knows they're an incredibly good team. But the Notre team has really got a lot of talent. They have a really nice brand. Plus, like normally there's an advantage to a team that is not a first-time team, but both of these are first-time teams. In fact, there's actually a decent number of first-time teams in this bracket, which might mean it a little more volatile. I was talking to one of the GMs today, in fact, of one of the teams that we think is in. And a first-time team often has to make good. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, the entire left, with the exception of Mackey and Carmen's, is almost first-time teams. And then the money team was Fredette.
A lot of experience, though. So some of these guys, first-time teams, but the players have played before. So hopefully that will, because obviously we want everyone to show up and, have their best game, their best talent on the court. And, so there's going to be some surprises, some wild cards. But, definitely a lot of first-year teams on that left-hand side. So they got to learn how to play together and the nuances of TBT. It's basketball, but it is unique in a lot of different ways.
And by the way, we're also trying to go to Columbus as the second half of our coverage trip. So if anybody knows where to eat, stay, or to get charge a beard trim in Columbus, that would be helpful. Okay, so that's the brackets. We're going to end on one last thought. So those of you who follow us, our Twitter account, know that Charge and I are both big dog guys, and we had something really unfortunate happen in the last couple weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had 34 years of dog as the official dogs of the podcast. And as of today, this morning, the one on the right, my Jordy, passed away, and Piper passed away about a week ago, correct?
Yeah, last Saturday. So Piper, as you say, onto the Rainbow Bridge. So, just a plug for these rescue dogs. I got her 15 years and 9 months ago when she was between 1 and 2 years old, and, passed away peacefully last Saturday, and Jordy obviously 17. So it's kind of crazy that we're kind of co-hosting this podcast, got to know each other fairly well over the past couple of years, and, kind of shared some experiences with our dogs. And unfortunately, one we didn't want to share, but wish you the best, Hainer, is obviously you're a little more recent that you and the family worked through that.
Yeah, we'll be okay. But it's funny because he's given us so much. So again, as Charge said, we got him from rescue as well. So adopt, don't buy. You don't save them, they save you. And we're eternally grateful for the richness that Jordy has brought in their life. I'm sure you feel the same about Piper. So to the TBT community, thanks for showing us all the love the last couple of weeks over this, and we really appreciate it. On that note, Charge, we've got a pretty good bracket here. What are we thinking? This should be fun, right?
No, it's on. I mean, this by far, everyone we talk to, are showing up with their best teams they've ever had. The TBT has, they have to make some tough calls. I know, on the surface, sometimes it gets really emotional, especially for the team to have the GMs where, a team doesn't get accepted for X, Y, or Z. But, TBT is very thoughtful. They're for the most part, very, upfront and communicate with the teams. And so there's going to be some tough decisions. I'm sure some hurt feelings tomorrow, but we've seen teams get cut and then come back to next year and absolutely slam it home. So looking forward to seeing who comes back and rebounds and but tough cuts, and they do the best with they can to put the best product on the court, and we've seen that for 7 straight years now. So 8th year coming, and gonna be fun. Can't wait for the reveal tomorrow.
Yeah, can't wait. We had 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific. YouTube, Twitter. I'll be in the chat on YouTube, I think, with our account chatting. See how close we got on the brackets. Very fun. Can't wait. Should be a lot of fun. And we're also going to start doing the regional preview shows. We'll have some of our old friends on to talk about that. So I'll be updating graphics tomorrow evening. So, Charge, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm good. Hopefully the internet held up today. I'm back home, but I'm back in my kind of dark dungeon, so I got to get some better lighting in here. So I upgraded the internet being home, and we didn't have to cut me off. But man, it's dark on this side, so we'll work on that for next year.
Well, yeah, we got your face, your good-looking face, a little more screen.
Oh yeah, everyone wants to see that.
On that note, this has been Charge Hainer presents ZoomTheTBT on Brackets Eve. See you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Can't wait. Enjoy.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.